Hi there, it's Jonathan Bocher from PlayGuitar.com. Today I'd like to teach you a lick that hopefully will give you a little bit of insight into how Mark Knopfler views his fretboard. Now, the inspiration for this lick comes from the song Sultans of Swing, which you're probably familiar with, and specifically in the second verse in the line where they come out of the rain and they hear the jazz go down. And then there's this lick off of the A chord, and it's just a case in point for most of his licks in the entire song, which are really, really tied to the chords. It's so simple that most people overlook it, and yet it's just brilliant because it sounds so melodic. And I got a little jam track that I'll play for you in a moment. We'll just show you that quick. It's just an A major. Okay, and then I'm hammering on these two strings here, right? So fourth string, fourth fret, and second string, third fret. So keep your A intact. Okay, and this A note down here basically rings through the whole thing. That gives you an idea where the jam track's at. This lick that we're going to learn comes off of the A chord, okay, the A major. Now look at these. We've got our A here. If you want to break it down, okay, just these three strings, second fret, strings 4, 3, and 2, right? Well, we can also play that A up here using a full bar chord, right? Hopefully you're familiar with that. And we can also play our A up here using the D-shaped chord, okay? If that's a D, this is our root note here on the third fret of the second string. That's our root note. So that's D, E, F, G, A. So reform our shape over that A, and you get an A major chord. Okay, now there are other places to find these chords as well on the fretboard, but for the sake of time, I don't want to get into that today. But here's my point. This lick comes straight out of these two A shapes. And he just ties it together in such a way that you wouldn't think, oh, he's playing a chord. But it sounds very melodic, right? So let's dig into this. If you know your D, the most common modification for a D chord is right here, right? The suspended fourth. Adding that fourth right there. Well, we're going to do that up here too. So we're going to start. You can forget your scale patterns today. We don't need them. Of course, it's helpful if you know them, but we're really just working with the notes in the chords, okay? So we're starting on that fourth, which is 10th fret, and first string, and then we're going to come down one fret, and then we're just going to go down through this shape. And I'm not going to give you a tab because I don't want you to think about it from a tab perspective. Think about this from a chord shape perspective, because when you start looking at it that way, you're freed up to play with it in different ways. Like you can rearrange the notes, the order of the notes, you can rearrange the rhythm of the notes, all that stuff, right? So feel free to get creative with this. So that's your first part of the riff, and you can have a lot of fun just with that. Just with those few notes there, right? We'll throw in a bonus note here because that is an octave, okay? So that's the first part of the riff. And then from here, we're going to slide down on this same string. We're on the third string. We're going to slide down to the next chord shape. Okay? Now, if you know your root 6 bar chords, you'll know that if we add that note there, it's again a suspended fourth, right? It's the same thing. In fact, you can look at your octave pattern here, and this whole riff just lines up perfectly you're just playing it in one octave and then sliding down and playing the same thing in the other octave. Okay? So you want to roll your finger over here and catch that. But just think about this coming out of that chord right here. And if you want, hit the open A there, right? Because we're playing over an A. Now, I will point out that you can play this over any major chord. You just got to line it up correctly. So if we're playing over, I don't know, a G, okay? All you got to do is find out, okay, where is that G-shaped chord? And it's going to be, of course, 2 frets down from where the A was. So we're starting here on the 8th fret. That's the 4th. That's the C. Sounds good, right? So you can play this over any chord. You've just got to look. If you're playing it over a D, I'd go all the way up here to your octave. So now your root note is there on the 15th fret. Sounds great. So let's turn on this simple little jam track, and I'll just demonstrate for you a little bit how you can apply this and what it sounds like over top of that A. And if you want the jam track, just follow the link below the video, and you can download it from that from the webpage there. All right, so let's roll the track. So there you have a few different ways of creating riffs using triad shapes over that A major, right? So I encourage you to grab that jam track. You can get it at the link below the video, and give it a try. I think if you really start digging into triads, you'll discover that it opens like a rather big door, a whole new area of your playing. I know that for myself, it's digging into triads is just continually transforming how I view the guitar, how I play, even my style. Everything is just kind of evolving the further I get into triads. So it's the subject that just keeps on giving, right? There's endless ways to apply triads on the fretboard. If you would like to check out another triads-based lick lesson, then check out the video up here. And otherwise, you have yourself a great day, and we will see you again in the next lesson.